Going to learn a lot this week here. Going to learn from what we saw the other day at the joint practice. And also on Thursday night a little bit. We're going to kind of tie that in. We appreciate each and every single one of you coming aboard with us. Thank you guys so much. Please hit the like button. Guys, I tell you this all the time. There's so many options out there for you guys to choose from. And for you to come here every single Monday through Friday, I can't thank you enough. You guys have grown the show. By the way, these last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, what have you, you're blowing this bad puppy up here, man. You're absolutely killing it. And I swear to you, thank you. It means a lot. Look, we get contentious back and forth, and I know we do. But I think that's one of the beauties of the program. But as we always start the program off, we put the signature Big Sills. Big Sills. We got to start it off always with that. You guys absolutely are awesome, and I can't thank you, like I said, enough. We're going to do something special today, by the way. We're going to put Butch Davis on at 4:30, the owner of 3 Super Bowl rings and a national championship ring. Vic Fangio and him are very good friends, and we're going to talk a little bit about what to look for this year, a little bit about Butch and looking at talent, what he thinks of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Let me ask you something here about this guy. Here's the man that recruited Jerome Brown. Here's the man that recruited Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, Warren Sapp, Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Ray Lewis, Jonathan Vilma, John Beeson, Reggie Wayne, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Andrew and James, Bryant McKinney. You think he knows anything about talent? That guy knows talent. He is arguably one of the greatest recruiters in the history of college football. Most of the guys Devin Hester, he recruited. Get this, the 2 guys that went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame last weekend are Butch Davis guys. I mean, how about this? This guy recruited to one team, Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Jonathan Vilma, Vince Wilfork. All those guys Butch recruited. For the record, he also brought in Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland is a Butch Davis guy. Okay? He's a Butch guy. How's that for you? Ed Ogeron, a Butch Davis guy. I mean, this guy knows talent. We'll talk to him about your talent. We'll talk to him what to look for this coming year. That'll be at 4:30. And he was my coach, obviously, at the University of Miami, where Jerome and I played for him. And some of the great stories that he has about us, too. I'm not sure what he's going to say, but I can only imagine. I don't know what the number is, but I think Butch Davis is recruited and put in the NFL over 70 defensive linemen, linebackers, DBs, receivers. God, it's endless, the amount of talent that he's put in the NFL. Be hard to find another coach in the last 30 years that has put more Hall of Famers into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Okay? Eduardo goes, Sills, I bet you still call him coach. Absolutely. Guy saved my life. He saved my life. As many others at Miami. He saved my life. Dude, I was either going to be in the Army or prison or dead. My life wasn't going in a great place. Butch saved my life. Absolutely, I still call him coach. Okay? Sills, is your Patriot source Alonzo Highsmith? No comment, Kyle. No comment. By the way, I'm listening to my boy Xander. By the way, Xander will be on, I think, a little bit later, like at around 5 o'clock after Butch. They were talking about how great the Eagles did in their joint practice. By the way, I concur and I confirm they did. Tube says, Big Sills, if Tanner McKee can go in for Jalen during the playoffs and win a championship, would you move on from Jalen like we did Carson? Tubes. History repeating itself like that one moment in time for the Eagles, I find that hard to believe that you will have that duplicated again in the history of your franchise. That was one moment in pro football history I doubt ever gets repeated like that. Some dude just walks in, goes for 353 against the Vikings in the NFC title game, and it turns around and throws for 373, beats the GOAT, and you're going to get a Lombardi trophy? I find that hard to believe. I just find that hard to believe. Yeah, we're going to push, CD. We're going to push that interview with Mark Holmes and with Philly 500 to next week because I want to know what Butch Davis thinks of Vic Fangio and the talent that you guys have on your team. He'll give you a fair assessment. But Butch is a consultant to many franchises in the NFL. They ask him questions about a particular player. I asked him a question actually about Michael Parsons. It was interesting what he says. He goes, it depends on all what they're asking him to do. Remember, schemes dictate sometimes what players' abilities can give to that scheme. You just because you sign a guy doesn't mean that guy's skill set fits that scheme. And that's why you have failure when it comes to the draft. So Butch is going to straighten that out. He goes, hey, you may have a really good football player on your team. I asked him about Nakobe Dean. He goes, shocking he's not doing well. We'll ask him why. Okay? That will be again at 4:30. So we appreciate you guys and thank you guys again for coming here. Please hit the like button. Let's start this bad puppy off. I want to hear this because I'm a diehard Eagle fan, but I'm not confident in the defense. I'm glad, CJ, you brought us here. Okay? Are you feeling better about your football team, especially the defense? Hey, let's do this. Quite frankly, I don't really feel any different. Well, I do feel different about your offense. I'll explain here when we get to the topic page. But are you feeling any different about your defense now after the joint practice? Are you feeling any different? Personally, just so you know, I'll bury the lead here. I'm not. I'm not feeling any different. Okay? The Patriots have absolutely one of the bottom 3 rosters in all the NFL. So if you have a good day against them, welcome to the NFL. You should. You're a better team. You're a better roster. I mean, now again, the young guys playing as well as they are, that's a good thing against any NFL competition. Okay? Hey, this is a good one. And that's kind of, I think we're on the same page here, Jay Brown. You guys are feeling better about Trotter Jr. I'm feeling better about the younger guys myself. Big picking. This is a great take. You guys are on your A game today. I do. The more reps, the better. Excellent point. Excellent point, no matter what the competition is, right? What you're saying, Pickin? Sills, even if the competition is not up to snuff where we're thinking they're a good football team, still getting quality football reps. You're right. You're right. Okay? But don't you think you're going to get more out of the quality reps on Thursday than what you did in the joint practice? Remember, that's a controlled environment. It's a homogenized pseudo type of game. You know, I heard John McMullen this morning, and love John. By the way, you know I do. Raving about the pass rush showing up in a controlled environment. It's like a formaldehyde jar. Or it's like a Petri dish. Everything's perfect in a Petri dish. Get out in the game. Let's see it in a game. Hey, if they duplicate that on Thursday night, by the way, I'm not expecting the offensive guys, but I'm expecting the defensive guys to go out and play on Thursday. Okay? I mean, Let's put everything in context here. That's a formaldehyde jar. A controlled joint practice is nothing that duplicates anything in a game. It's a glorified 9-on-7. The stuff you see in quality reps you get are the exhibition games. Now, look, do I think the Eagle offense needs reps? Maybe some. Not crazy numbers. That's an elite skill set offense. And they probably get a lot out of the controlled environment. I don't want A.J. Brown getting hit in an exhibition game. I'd rather have him going in the joint practice, because why? I'd rather take a little bit of a lesser quality rep than going into a preseason game where a guy makes a cut, he gets knocked out, and all of a sudden he's got a concussion, he misses the first 4 weeks of the season. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay? That's not what I'm looking for here, especially with him. Sills, I think the coaches will get more on Thursday. Correct. Correct, Bob. Okay, correct. They will get to see how the players react to the coaching during the game. That's another key thing. Because look, remember something, Bob. That's a great take, Bob. Bob, remember something. When you're in a controlled joint practice, you get to stop and coach. And you get to coach a technique. When you're in a game, there's no coaching. You have to wait till the next day or the day after to coach. There's no coaching. There's no time for coaching. You're not going to point out a technique sitting on the sidelines with a guy. That's not going to work. That's not the time for coach. You don't coach on game day. Nobody coaches with any quality on game day if you have a good team. You're talking about adjusting and adjustments on game day. So when you're talking about, well, a joint practice, you get to stop practice and you get to coach. It's a controlled environment. I'm not saying they're not quality reps. They are quality reps because you're going full speed, but you're not really tackling. You're not hitting the quarterback. Okay? It's a little different. By the way, I'm not suggesting to you that the Eagles did not do a great job against the Patriots on Tuesday. I am not saying that. I'm saying this is what you are preparing for, because to me, I'm still not sold, or not even remotely close to being sold on your defense. I still think you're going to have many issues. Your linebackers can't cover. There is a gaping hole in the middle of your defense. And when you play Jordan Love, he's going to exploit that. Okay? Murder, what's up, brother? Okay. Hey, what's up, man? You piss me off every day, but I keep coming back. The constant reality check. Murder Arb. Hey, man, I appreciate. Actually, this is my kind of faith. This is my type of viewer right here. Is this stuff right here? Great stuff, man. Is there any benefit for these guys other than just running through a play? No. Hey, I'm not telling you that those joint practices are not quality reps. They are quality reps. Can't be sold till the season starts. Jesus criminy, I can't believe JB and I are on. Hey, 2 comments by JB. We're already here. Wow. Hey, JB, I think the show's going to suck the rest of the day. It's only been 16 minutes and JB and I are kind of agreeing on something. Okay? I'm not here. Hey, Ruiz, how you doing, brother? Appreciate it. What is the organization? Okay, what is with this organization and being able to find good cover linebackers? I think it's a shit philosophy, and I think it's a shit evaluation that they do when it comes to the position. I actually think Vic Fangio's scheme is flawed also at the linebacker position. I think the scheme is flawed, and I think the philosophy of the importance of the position is flawed. I think the entire organization doesn't take that position serious. Just like I don't think they take wide receiver 3 serious. Just at times, I think they don't take backup tight end serious. You can see where the positions on the team they don't give a shit about. They don't give a shit about linebackers. They truly can't. This is the first year they gave a shit about running backs by getting Barkley in the building. Okay? This is the first time they've really addressed it with a quality guy. Dan, where did the Dallas D finish in rankings last year? We better be better than that because Love killed it. He did. I didn't think they were that bad last year. But against the run, I thought they were awful. Hey, think about this, Swift, Charlie. The Bills ran 14 passes in that game in Buffalo. They had 14 passes, and they beat the shit out of them with only 14 passes. It was like a 1960s offensive attack. The Riding the Bench Eagle podcast. Remember when he was in Chicago, San Francisco? He had elite linebackers. You need studs for this scheme to shut down. Yeah, to be a shutdown defense. He's right. I'll tell you. But remember what they also had. Eagles bench. Remember what they had though. Okay, when he was there, they had either John Lynch or they had Trent Baalke, and those guys were pretty good at putting talented people in the organization, and they value linebackers. The San Francisco 49ers have always valued defense. They won those championships with Montana and Steve Young. They also had some of the best defenses of the era during that time. You know, everybody always looked at Rice and Montana and Craig and those guys. You know, what about Lott and Michael Carter and all them dudes that Keena Turner? All those guys that played on those teams were fantastic. Charles Haley was on those football teams. Who they got after the passer? I mean, Kevin Fagan, a bunch of those guys played on those great elite defensive football teams, and they were great. They had great defensive football teams. 2022 was short to moderate in yard plays majority of the time, and we fucking crushed the defense with that scheme. They thought they could do that again. By the way, do we have a crazy topic here coming up here? And I think this kind of is something that kind of still concerns me a little bit. Listen what Akbar says. Why is this philosophy flawed? Why is it flawed? Who gives a shit about third wide receiver when we have two tight ends? You don't have two tight ends. You don't have two tight ends. Calcaterra has not proven that he could stay healthy. You don't have two fucking tight ends. That's a theory, Akbar. Who gives a shit about three wide receivers? Well, that means I really don't have to put anybody on them, and I could double up someone, tight end or back, and I don't have to worry about wide receiver 3. You only had 35 catches anyway from it. Great. You're playing 10 against 11. That's why. You're trying to create mismatches and options. You're trying to keep a defense honest. The more you take away from your offense, the less, and it's easier for a defensive coordinator to put a scheme together against you. That's why. Whether you're getting production out of that or not, it's got to be competent and dependable that somebody could make a catch from there. So you have to defend it. Okay, so Akbar wants to go into a game 10 versus 11. That's his philosophy. 10 versus 11. We're good enough to beat you. No, you're not. No, you're not. Calcaterra's legit? How? Give me one thing that you say, Jason, that you think Calcaterra's legit. Where's he legit? Is that a theory? That's a theory, right? That he's legit. Because he has not proven one thing production-wise that he is. He has not proven one thing, Jason, that he's dependable, reliable, and productive. Where? Where has he proven that? Guy can't stay on the field either. I mean, you're talking theory, not reality. Got to hang in there. You're going to go, you'll eat crow. Okay, great. I haven't yet. How many years he been on the team? 3? I mean, in the time? God, how many years has Calcaterra been on the football team? 2? 3? How many years now has he been on the team? I don't really know because I don't really keep count of players that don't have impact. Okay? Tell me. How many years has he been on the team? I don't know. This is his 3rd year. Okay, well, I mean, isn't it time to be productive? So he's going into his 3rd year. Well, he has been not productive in 2 years so far. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I saw the guy Laporte up in Detroit catch 77 footballs and was a force. I've seen a lot of tight ends that have come in the league that weren't first-round draft choices that have made impacts. This kid's made no impact so far. We'll see. Again, you're talking in theories. Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate that. Okay. Dan Sileo was at the Patriots practice and Trotter looked great. He was getting off the ball and knew his gaps. I wouldn't use the word great. I would use the word solid. And that's a good thing. A young player like that doing all the fundamental things that it takes. He's better than I thought. He surely is. He's better than I thought. I think you're going to get a little bit more from your defense and how you're going to be able to go forward because everybody's raving over the joint practice. I think you temper that. I'm not that excited over that. I'm expecting that. You have a better roster than the Patriots. Why wouldn't you think you're going to go in there and be the better team? Okay? I mean, again, they're quality reps for the young players. Guy like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, that's just another day at practice. That's just another day at practice. Okay? Bang, bang, Philadelphia. They'd be like, stop saying you look good. It's only joint practice. But then proceed to say that the Eagles' defense is flawed. It is flawed. How many starters ain't on the field along with the vanilla plays? You had your entire starters out there last game. And you had your starters out there too in the joint practice against the Patriots. You did not set your defense against the Ravens. You set your offense. They're flawed. They're flawed in experience. Hey, how about this one? How many people truly believe that Vic Fangio is going to play young players? How many people believe that? I don't. I think he's going to work them in. I think he's going to work them in. Angelo says this. The third wide receiver has to be able to keep his head in the game. You never know when the ball is coming to him. That's a skill in itself. Amen. Amen. Only if they're ready. Right, Kyle? Vic will put them in when they're ready. And I believe that. I believe that. Chuck, I believe what Kyle just said. I think they'll put him in. I think they're going to have to put him in. Okay? I think they're going to put him. I think they're going to have to put him in. All right. I want to read this to you here. And again, guys, Jason Kelce went on a show today. And I want to ask you if you think all these issues have been resolved heading into the Thursday night exhibition game against the Patriots. And are you feeling better that 2023 and all the issues that you had on your team are behind you? Jason Kelce's words. And he's more open now, obviously, because he's now moving into the analyst role. And some would say, Sills, why is this important? Well, you don't want to repeat history. We see it all the time in teams. They constantly repeat their mistakes, and that's why they're in the constant shit bowl that never flushes. Okay? The Rob Medee podcast he was on, Jason Kelce, He said clearly the two coordinators of a year ago were a problem. Wow. First time I've heard a player that was on that team a year ago say that both coordinators, it was a problem. Said that the players didn't have the cohesiveness together that they had in 22. What could form that? Same guys. What would cause that? That the environment in the locker room was so dramatically changed that the players didn't have the same togetherness that they had in 22. That they 23 didn't have it that they had in 22. Offense. Check this out. If this doesn't show you the incompetence of the organization and how idiotic they were a year ago, this is a company thing. This isn't just a coaching thing. This is a company thing. Joe Kraus is here running the show today. Joe knows this is better as anybody as a company owner. Hey, man, you make one shitty hire, it destroy your entire company. You make two shitty hires, the thing's over. And here's what Jason Kelce said. Offense, we just went simple. Instead of trying to expand, we went simple. That's why you had Nick Bosa picking the plays out. Look how smart the NFL players are. They game plan you. They notice things. Every single NFL football team that you played last year knew exactly what you were doing from week 5 on because the Eagles got simpler on offense. Instead of Sirianni and Brian Johnson expanding the offense, this is according to Kelce, they got simpler. Now listen to this. This is Jason Kelce's words. The defense became more complex. You lost Javon Hargrave. You decided to use Hassan Reddick in a different role. You lost TJ Edwards, your quarterback, in the middle of the room. And you decided to go more complex by playing man coverage and by doing more exotic schemes that the players did not understand what was going on. You had one dynamic on one side of the ball where you were trying to be as simplistic as you could. It needed to be the reverse. The defense needed to be more simplistic. And the offense needed to expand. You've got $25, $30 million wide receivers on that side of the ball and a $50 million quarterback, and you're dumbing down the offense. What do you think? Hurts is an idiot? Or do you think that A.J. Brown is a fool? These guys can't pick. They were running high school plays last week or last year. High school plays. And you were coming up with these exotic Steve Spagnuolo defenses for a defense that had no idea what the fuck you were doing. I mean, it was totally counterproductive in what you did in 22. They panicked. Mike, I agree. Both coordinators were handicapped. Can I tell you how? The hiring of Matt Patricia handicapped Sean Desai, and Nick Sirianni handicapped Brian Johnson. You had too many roosters in the hen house at one time. This is what Kelce's saying. And I'll go back and say this. The coordinators just didn't fit. Shit, dude. As an organization, why did you go down that route? Guys, please hit the like button. We're a little bit behind there. 76? Appreciate you, man. Okay? I mean, insane. Players didn't play well. Get this one. Jason Kelce said, including himself. He goes, I did not play well my last 5 games of my career. I did not play well. Good for Jason Kelce, because he didn't. Cam Jurgens might actually be an upgrade in player. He actually might be an upgrade. Kelce, these are Kelce's words. Have all this been addressed? I think so. I do. I think so. I do. I'm going to say something here. Who said it? Brandon Graham said it. Brandon Graham said that Jalen Hurts looks like a new man, and that Kellen Moore is making him a smarter football player. And you can see one thing that's important. You know what that is? He's more comfortable this year than he's ever been since he's been a Philadelphia Eagle. Could it possibly be that he's been waiting for Jason Kelce to retire so that this could be his team? Clearly it was Kelce's team. Shit. Kelce had really the most important job on the offense, setting pass protection. He pretty much ran it. It's his team. Is it possible that with Kelce not being there, Hurts becomes more of a vocal leader, more of a guy who's in control of his offense more? Josh goes, that's a dumbass take. Jason Kelce said he played like shit the last 5 games. Hurts has looked great in camp. Really? Well, then you fucking tell me what happened. You tell me. He ran it good in 17. 17 in 2023? That's 6 years. That's 6 years. That's because little Nicky's an asshole. Marshall says, get this. This guy's bringing up 2016. I'm talking about 2023 with Kelce. Kelce, that's 6-year difference in age. What are you talking about, guy? Dude, he ran out of gas at the end of the year. He ran out of gas. He did not play well. He was giving sacks up, illegal procedure penalties. Go back and watch the film. He's right. He's right. That's a great take right there for, hey, how about this? Seals, do you think the Vikings will make a trade for a quarterback? Could be calling the Eagles right now for Kenny Pickett. Okay? Mr. International, I'm not saying anything glaring. I'm not saying I hated Jason or, all that. I'm not saying that. Okay? I'm not saying any of that. Who said Kelce was calling audibles? How could Kelce call audibles with his head down? Quarterback calls audibles. Offensive line, he may change the blocking scheme. He ain't changing audibles in the pass scheme. That ain't happening. Sales, Kelce's comments paint the picture that the players were suffering from analysis paralysis. It was in their heads. I find it strange he didn't talk about Nick, but called out coordinators. Because he's got to walk back in that building with the key fob. Okay? That to me, he's got that. He didn't bring up Nick at all because Nick, get this, and Nick oversaw it. What happened was Johnson had a simple offense that a third grade could figure out after 10 to 12 games. Look at how bad the play calling was in the red zone. Well, that's Sirianni too. That's not just him, JB. Again, look, I don't want to stay on that because we're in a new year here. Okay? How many people think that this is slanderous here? Kelsey was the cause of last year. I didn't say that. He's making that up. It was the fucking offense fell apart. Where was A.J. Brown the last 10 games of the season? He had 100-yard game. In the last 8 games, he had 100-yard game. Where was he? The offense? The offense couldn't score 10 points against the shitty Bucks. What are you talking about, guy? And nobody said it was the fault of Kelsey. Kelsey's saying this, guy. Jason Kelsey's saying this. I'm asking you, don't you think now Jalen, according to Brandon Graham, feels a little more comfortable that this is now his team for the first time in 5 years? This is his team. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody's saying that that was all on Jason. Shit. Jason's telling you what happened. I would like to mention the Eagles had the hardest schedule, and that's an excuse. When you're as talented as them, hey, really, let me ask anybody this. The Eagle offense, who gives a shit if you have the hardest schedule or the easiest schedule? All comes down to whether you win a Super Bowl, not by how many games you win. Nobody cares at the end of the day how many games you win. They care you win the last game. If that number's 11, 12, 10, 13, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. They care you win the final game of the year. That's right, WCB. That is clearly my point here. Sounds like Kelsey was just being brutally honest about himself, his play, everyone's play, the decisions to pick the coaches. Absolutely. Hey, by the way, WCB probably was being extra hard on himself. So you take that with a small grain of salt too. Kelsey's very introspective. Absolutely. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. If there's nothing more to the point of that in any NFL year, it's what Kyle just said right here. Guys, we appreciate the super chats too. You guys are killing it. Thank you. Absolutely. Here's Abe. Sills. So why are we so obsessed with how the Eagles are doing now than rather the playoffs? It all matters, Big Sills. It all matters. It does. But I'm saying to you, you're going to have bumps and bruises out of the gate here, man, with that defense. Don't get your panties in a bind. Let it mature. Dude, I knew last year after New England, I told everyone, and then you guys kept putting up 10-1. And I kept saying to you guys, that team's no 10-1 team. That team's playing like a 7-win team. They look by the end of the year, they were playing like a 7-win football team. And they looked at the end of the year, Kansas City was playing like a 14-win team. They only had 11 wins. They won as many games as you. Look at how Kansas City finished the season. Finished it strong. Every week it was a struggle to win in dominant fashion that in 22 they did nearly every week. Forrest, they just ran people over in 22. Get this, Forrest. That's about as simple. Forrest, think about this. They ran one of the most simplest offenses in pro football, the RPO. But what's so difficult about the RPO? It's the quarterback's decision-making. The quarterback decides throw, pass, hand off. Right? That what his decision-making was what was, dude, you could run, the Eagles in 22 could have ran 10 plays and still killed you. They could have told you where they were going and killed you. That's how good they are. Christopher, thank you. Sills, a lot of fans can't take, Eagle fans can't take perfection. I know week 8 we didn't look right, and it only got worse towards the end of the year. Dude, I promise you, Christopher, that's, I swear to you, Christopher, I've got this card that Andy Robustelli gave me, that Lombardi gave him. and I have it in my office, and it says on there, and I've read this to most of you, and I should probably show it to you. Lombardi had it on a card that he used to hand out to people. We are going to do everything in our power to try for perfection each and every single day, knowing full well we'll never get there. But we're going to learn how to live with greatness. That's a mindset. Everything you do every day, everything you do, running to water, running to drills, game tempo, everything. The coach that's coming on here at 4:30, we practice game tempo, every freaking thing we ever did. So when we got into the game, games were easy. I never played in a game with Jimmy Johnson's coaching staff that Butch was on it that was harder than our practices. Ever. Ever. Never. That carried over to the pros where he won 3 Super Bowls and where he won a national championship. Think about what Butch's resume is. One of the most celebrated recruiters of all time. And on top of that, he's got 4 championship rings at both levels, college and pro. He was just recently ranked by the Cowboys the 3rd best defensive coordinator in Cowboy history, behind Ernie Stautner and Dave Wanstead, who also comes on this program. That's why we're bringing Butch on. He's one of the most elite D coordinators that's ever lived. Okay? That 2000, 2001, 2002 team that the Canes put together had 11 All-Pros on it and 6 Hall of Famers. I mean, couldn't run the RPO last year since Jalen Hurts. Remember what Wink Martindale said? JB, remember what Wink said? We knew they weren't going to be committed with running the quarterback. We knew what was coming. We knew exactly what was coming. Okay? Know exactly. Let's get to the topic here. Move off that, because I do think they've rectified a lot of that. I do. Seals, that's because there was no one else good in the league during the time. Now there's players everywhere. Okay? Funny, they all landed in Dallas at that time. Seals, the most difficult part of the RPO is having the guts to put your quarterback in harm's way. Howie and Lurie caved. Hurts must change. Now he plays to earn money. He earned because of his play. I know. Remember, Boomer Esiason said something on this program. Jalen Hurts has got to learn to play with his contract. I didn't take that serious. Now I know what it means. Now I totally know what it means. He's got to learn to play with his contract. You know what that means to me? He's got to do what Mahomes does. Hey, man, when I got to pull out the danger cord and I got to pull out the danger game, I got to know when the danger game is. I can't just play a danger game week 3, week 6. I got to pick my time. Got to pick my time. Okay. Here's my take. By the way, we're going to do something else here in a minute here, but here's my take on why the Eagles struggle developing quarterbacks. It's going to kind of go down the line of what we were talking about a little bit with Kellen. So Kellen Moore is making Jalen Hurts a smarter player, according to Brandon Graham, just watching him in practice. The camp that he's having now is the best since he's been a pro. Why? Landmarks when it comes to motion, learning how to read defenses. He's a completely different. What did Darius Slay say? What was the comments? Here's Slay. Kellen Moore's just making Jalen smarter of a football player. You could see it every day. Kellen Moore's making Jalen Hurts a smarter football player every day. Be prepared, you're going to lose that. The more success Hurts has, the more success Kellen Moore has. You know, it's funny. You got people in Philly with this notion that they believe that Kellen Moore is just automatically just going to stay because whatever. If Jalen Hurts throws for 4,500 yards and wins the MVP, or you go to the NFC title game, he's going to be a head coach. He's going to be a head coach. He's going to get a shot at being a head coach. If Sean McDermott can become a head coach, Kellen Moore, with this whole project here, will become a head coach. Could be in Buffalo, working with Josh Allen. Why would you go from one? And here, follow me here on this one. Here's my problem with the organization. What in the world and who influenced you to sit there and say, let's elevate the quarterback coach who had no experience to be the coordinator in 23 and then turn around and hire a guy who is almost like a savant with the way he handles quarterbacks, go with that kind of experience one year and not the next year or the year after? It's kind of inconsistent. There's my issue. Where do you really believe that the Eagles are this great hiring of assistant coaches when you've changed out 9 coordinators in 4 years? 2 with great success. 2 of your 9. I mean, so Moore leaves, you're back again, and Hurts is back again, starting from ground zero. No, and you know what, Abe? It's not that you're not good at it. You're not good at putting quality. Hey, here's something here. Think about. The Dallas Cowboys are failing Dak Prescott and putting quality people around him when it comes to players. They're not suffering with coaches around him. They've had more. They got Mike McCarthy. Those aren't bad coordinators. They're not bad coordinators. But when it comes to players, CD's out of camp. They're 2 and 3 are nowhere to be seen. They got a shitty running back. By the way, I personally believe that they regret letting Tony Pollard go. Where is he now? In Tennessee? The real zeal goes McCarthy's a mouth breather with a Super Bowl ring. Yeah, okay, sure. Remember, your guy's got an L. He's got a W. Okay? Always put that in context. Always put that in context. Yeah, well, that was in 2010, Sills. Well, you fuckers keep bringing up 2022 to me. You want to live in the past? The past matters to everybody. Hey, Real Zeal's right. Switzer has a Super Bowl. You're right. Jalen's been to a Super Bowl, so shit, it must not matter. Must not matter then. Shit, if Switzer has a Super Bowl ring, Jalen going to a Super Bowl must not matter. Okay. Fair enough. See, I hate when people don't put the same metric versus everyone else because it applies to everyone on all 32 teams, not just your team and your guy. Okay? Zimmer compared to Quinn, Sills. I think Mike's more structured. I like Mike Zimmer more than Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's got a Super Bowl ring playing or working up in Seattle with Carroll. Did a decent job in Atlanta. I don't think Dan Quinn sucks. But I would take Mike Zimmer. I think he's more structured and puts players in better positions to win. Okay? Crowley. Defense is suspect still. Defense has always been suspect, and it will be until week 10. Okay? Switzer won with Jimmy. Butch Davis was the D coordinator of that team. Jalen was excellent in the Super Bowl. And was our whatever. Sills, what do you think of edge rusher from Ole Miss? I want to look more at him before I look at him because I gave you the top 10 guys from yesterday. So Kellen Moore is making Jalen Hurts a better. Ryan goes, Butch Davis stinks with 3 rings. What's your coordinator, Vic Fangio, got, Ryan? No rings. Just checking. What's your guy got? By the way, has Vic ever been to a Super Bowl? Has he? Just curious. Has your guy ever been to a Super Bowl? Butch is 3-0. Just curious. Has anybody that your coordinators have been to a Super Bowl? No. Okay, well, let's hang in there before you tell me how great they are. Just, I mean, you might want to hang in there. Okay? If the season is a success, make Kellen Moore head coach. Dude, if they get to the Super Bowl, they're not firing Nick Sirianni. Adam, he's got to a Super Bowl. Okay. Did he win it? What's his name says Butch was not a good head coach in the NFL. Okay. No one said he was. Still won a playoff game. Won a playoff game with the Browns, too, believe it or not. Patriots are going 2-15. Boy, they look terrible. Ryan, I got you, brother. We're good. Oh, thank you, dude. We need a play calling head coach. Let's see what that happens and see what that looks like next year. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Guys, please hit the like button. Seals, when you think of the foundation of the Eagles, you think front office or players. The staff is the bridge between the two, and this organization will not commit to building a staff. That's an absolutely true comment, and that's one thing that I can't stand about the organization. They refuse to build a good coaching staff. And you know what I mean? You guys go like this. Well, we got a good one this year. Yeah, but you won't next year. Or maybe you will. I don't know. So you've had 3. Get this. Is this fair to say that Jalen Hurts has had 3 different coaching staffs in 3 straight years? Is that fair? It's been like 3 different coaching staffs. Right? I mean, it's kind of weird. Going into 4 now. I think they'll give Nick another role. No way. No way. They're developing him into being a coach that they want. Senor Gosills, who's on the show today? Anyone challenging your great takes? I think Xander's going to be on at 5. And we're going to have Butch Davis on at 4:30, owner of 3 Super Bowl rings. The best quarterback in the league have consistent play calling. Reed, Taylor, McVay, Kyle. Isn't that look at podcast here? And those are your teams that are constantly in the NFC Championship game or divisional rounds. Reed, Taylor, McVay, and Kyle. There's no coincidence to that. There's just no coincidence to that. Okay? If Hurts doesn't want Nick after the Super Bowl, he's gone. Don't forget he was the one that got Nick demoted. Fair comment. Jalen can't master anything if he is always learning the basics of a new offense every year. It's my biggest concern with the fact that, you're hearing Kellen Moore's making Jalen a smarter player. Can you imagine? Okay, Why didn't you hire Kellen Moore last year after Kellen Moore got fired in Dallas? Why didn't you hire him? As soon as the Desai got, or Brian Johnson, why did you wait so long? Why didn't you just make the move and go get Kellen? Because you weren't sure about Kellen. Because the first option was Cliff Kingsbury. Remember something about Kingsbury and what makes him a special coach and why it's hard to hire him. He still has 2 years of $20 million that the Cardinals owe him. And the Eagles don't want to pay that. They would have to pay a percentage. And they did not want to do that. See, if you make $25 million or you make $20 million from the Cardinals, the Eagles have to pay the money that they pay him to the Cardinals to offset it. And Kingsbury has to agree to it. Kingsbury's actually taking a pay cut to be the coach and offensive coordinator of the Commanders because he's still under contract with the Cardinals. And if you get a job that's a lesser job than being a head coach, that money offsets. I would have hated Cliff. Well, that's who they wanted. They had a 3-year deal on the table. Cliff isn't that great. What did he do with Texas Tech? Got Mahomes drafted and developed the greatest quarterback in pro football history. Caleb Williams was the number 1 overall draft choice. He was the coordinator last year in USC. Took Kyler Murray to an 11-win season in Arizona when you had Pete Carroll, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan in that NFC West. And you're the head coach of the shitty Cardinals. That's the player, not the coach. Forrest Hill says, well, okay, it's just a coincidence that he's coached Patrick Mahomes, who no one knew who he was, Texas Tech, Coach Caleb Williams, Coach Kyler Murray. Those are all just coincidences. And all of them got paid. Interesting. He got Kyler Murray a $46.1 million deal, but that's probably not anything to do with Kyle. Correct me if I'm wrong. He got hurt, and what happened last year? I don't remember. Cliff wouldn't have been the OC. It had not been for him wanting to get rid of Stoutland. Eduardo, pretty true. He wanted to get a new offensive line coach in there. And I've said this before to you too. I think that's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker for me too. Okay? It is. That's a deal breaker. Caleb was under Cliff's buddy Lincoln Riley. Mike, the offensive coordinator at Southern Cal last year was Cliff Kingsbury. And Kyler Murray said that one of the most important things was having Kingsbury back there, helping him the fundamentals on being able to read and progress and how to read defenses. Okay, so I mean that's out of Caleb Williams' mouth. Also, it's not that easy to justify letting a coach that has 3 playoff runs and a Super Bowl appearance and a top 10 offense every year. That's right. Jose, no question. Say what you will, but he's outcoached a bunch of coaches that got Jose. Absolutely true. That's absolutely true about Nick Sirianni. That's absolutely true. As shitty as 2023 was, they had the eighth ranked offense. And you can say all the complaints you want about his influence. Still was ranked 8th. Everyone got raises. I mean, and they won 11 ball games. No question. Name 5 defenses in the NFC conference that's better than the Eagles right now. Niners, Packers, Lions. Lions, Packers, 49ers, Buccaneers, maybe Seahawks. I don't think the Giants are better than the I think the Giants have a better front four. Their linebackers aren't very good and their secondary is atrocious. I do think the Rams too, Jack. I do think the Rams, even with losing Aaron Donald. I do. I think there's probably seven defenses better than the Eagle defense. Sure. And the rest of the Eagles are in the same group with the Bears. Unproven and not good, very awful linebackers and questionable edge rushers. This is what you are in defense. Face it. Two really good-looking prospect tackles, questionable edge rushers, 0 linebackers, and youth in the secondary, and injury-prone safety, 2 safeties, and you got an aging CB1 and youth everywhere else. That's who you are. Now, can that dynamic change? Yes. Atlanta, Daniel, I want to see Atlanta get home. I think the pass rush is the one questionable thing for Atlanta. Maybe a little bit on the run defense too. So they're kind of, Atlanta's in there with Philly too. Okay? Seals, no mention of Urban Meyer. I don't know what you keep bringing that up for. I don't know what happened to Urban Meyer. Okay? We don't know yet about our defense. Well, Chris, I think you just answered it. Akbar goes, you tripping, Seals. Seahawks? Tampa held you to 9 points. They stomped you. By the way, tripping? This guy Akbar doesn't want to face it. Questionable edge rushers, really good looking talented D tackles, 0 linebackers, an old corner, 2 injury-prone safeties, a rookie at corner, and all inexperience in the secondary. And he's saying that I'm tripping. That's what you are, guy. Stop talking about what you think they can be. That has nothing to do with reality. What are they right now? When you line up against the Packers, tell me what they have and who you are today. You are exactly what I just said you are. Can that dynamic be different in 10 weeks? I hate quantifying this shit to people that don't get it, but I will, yes. But today, on April 14th, that's who you are. I can't stand these guys that go around after a joint practice and tell me, where's Bryce? There's Bryce. You're like, Bryce Huff in a controlled fucking practice against the 2-15 Patriots? You're going to sit there in a non-game environment and tell me the pass rush, there it is? How dumb. It's an ignorant comment. It's an ignorant comment. Okay, now look. There's more upside with the Eagles this year with the youth. And hey, do this. Is Trotter really that good or getting better? Or is the fact that everyone else in the building is horrible? Or can 2 things be true? Yes. African goes, nothing impresses Sills. On your defense? No. A.J. Brown's impressive. See? When a guy makes a comment like that, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm not going to justify yourself to make you feel good and go that route so that you can feel good about yourself. I'm not doing that. It's like the Dave Chappelle line. How far do I have to go to make you feel good about yourself? I'm not doing it. Birds dominated the joint practice. Don't be an optimistic fan. Birds dominated the joint practice. Right. Correct. Be thrilled that there was progress made. That's how I would take it, Steve. Thank you. Yes. That's exactly how you're right. Right here. Yes. Birds dominated the joint practice. Don't be optimistic fan. Correct. I think you should be encouraged a little bit. about what went on, and it's getting better. By the way, isn't it funny? How come I talk to you like Vic Fangio and you like the way Vic talks, but you don't like the way I talk? I talk like Vic Fangio. Sills, the good thing about this defense is that they are letting the yes, that's a great. Hey Bob, you got really great takes. You got really great takes. Urban Meyer's not going to Miami. Letting the. It's a great comment. That's a great comment. Letting the kids play. Get them out there. Get this. Once again, Swinsky. Here, look at this asshole here. This guy thinks I hate the Eagles and I want them to do bad. No, I want them to get better. How does my show get better and have more people watch it if you guys are 2-15? It's such an ignorant comment. Nobody here on this channel or here on this program is rooting for anything 2-15. How does that help me? Use your sense. How does that, hey, Senor, how does that help my show, Swanky? How does that help my show if you suck? It blows my mind that you think I hope that. Dude, my show's success is more important than anything the fucking Eagles will ever do. And for them to be successful helps me. Sucking hurts me. Why would I hope for that? Any talk show host who wishes the team that they cover and the league they cover or the sport they cover to blow, I didn't say 5 wins. I said you have a 7-win defense. Yes, I'm not sold. You don't like it. That's not rooting for your success or failure. This guy thinks me making a proclamation that I think your defense sucks today is rooting for them to stink. It's an asshole comment. It's an absolute asshole comment. Nobody's rooting for that. But what you want me to do is sit here and tell you shit I don't believe. Once again, here's who you are. Suspect edge rushers, great-looking young talented defensive tackles as a tandem. You know, I'll even put that out there. As a tandem, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, they could be the best 2 young tackles in the league. If Jordan could just pick it up a little bit more, they could be. Your linebackers are atrocious, the entire group. You could throw the entire group into a volcano. The secondary, you're old at one corner. The other guy, you're so bad, you're keeping a $12 million guy praying he can help you at safety. That's economically unsound. 2 safeties that are casualties of war between Avonte Maddox and CJ. Then the rest are youth. That's what you are. Dude, let it play out. You think the offense is good enough to carry our defense to a Super Bowl, says Josh. Josh, now you're thinking. Josh, what's the one way, in your opinion, you think that the Eagles can carry that defense? Josh, what would you do in the first month of the season? Week 5 is the hey, so what? You want the cheerleader? You like cheerleaders? Xander's not a cheerleader, though. That's not a fair comment. So I'll take that back. He's not. Rob Ellis is a cheerleader. So that's more to the point. Where does Carter and Davis rank in tackles as a group? I think they're top 10, maybe. Run the ball, play action. Here's Jack down here. This is what I would do too. First 4 games getting into the bye to save my defense. I want to limit my defense to 60 snaps. Okay, Slagger, 60 snaps or less. And I want my offense to look like a Chip Kelly offense with 75 to 80 plays. Run that fucking ball. Kill that clock. Win a game 21-0. Probably not going to suffice the front office, but dude, if you win a game 21-0 or 21-3 or 27-3 and you're around there and you're beating opponents by 24 points, who gives a shit if you put 35 points up? What the fuck is this about? Is it about winning games and you're crushing teams by 3 touchdowns? What do you care if it's 30 points? To me, the point differential is that matters. If I beat a team 20-0 and someone's going to sit there and give me shit because I didn't score 30 points, but I shut you out and beat you 20 by 3 touchdowns, stop that. Okay, stop that. Okay, Prince says this. By the way, please hit the like button every time I see Prince. Sills, Green Bay's defense struggled last season, lost key players, and is in transition to a scheme under a new coach. How will they improve? The quarterback and the offense, same way we're talking here. But your point is valid. Your point is valid, but they did add also Xavier McKinney back there to the secondary. They brought him in and put him back there. And if I'm not mistaken, they signed that linebacker kid, and he's up in Green Bay too, and he's starting, and he looks awful good. So they've added some players also, and they spent $17.8 million to bring Xavier McKinney in. So, okay, I mean, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. J-Mac was concerned Moore was not going with splash plays enough because Hurts is good at it. But Dink and Dunk and Slagger. Okay, how about this? Slagger. Tom Brady didn't win with explosion plays. Who are you going to trust? Tom Brady dinking and dunking and punting, playing special teams? Get this. The all-time leading passer, Slagger, is a dink and dunk passer. He has more passing yards in the postseason and in the regular season than any quarterback that's ever played. And he only had really 1 year where he threw the ball deep. That was when Moss was there. What are you going to believe? Explosion plays down the field or playing the percentage game? Wouldn't you rather throw 10 plays you know you can complete versus 6 plays? Wouldn't you rather throw 10 of them? Give yourself a better chance of winning, controlling the clock, controlling field position and time? Come on, man. Controlling clock and red zone will be critical to the team's success, just like it was in 22. Absolutely. Sills, yes, Sills, I totally disagree with J-Mac on that. We know we could throw it deep. By the way, Umberto, I'm not saying don't pick your moments. Brady picked his moments. And I think Kellen will help him pick his moments through the landmarks he's showing him. Dude, throwing the ball deep now. How about this? Before I take a timeout here, watch this. So if I start the game, who we play? Green Bay. And I start throwing the ball deep. Say on the first series, do a couple screen passes, hand the ball off, we're moving the chains. First down, we throw the ball deep, incomplete, 2nd and 10. Barkley trips in the backfield. You're now 3rd and 9. You get a 3 and out. In the second series, you're going to turn that defense over to Jordan Love, and he's on the 35-yard line of the Packers versus that defense early in the season. It's a remedy to get killed. It's a remedy to get killed. You do 5 of those, Packers will beat you and blow you out. Or would you rather do this? Hand the ball off, get that ball at 3rd and 1, keep it at 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. And methodically go down the field on a 14-play drive and run them off the fucking scoreboard. How many times in 22 did we look up and go, damn, the half's over? Eagles up 14-0. You're like, and the opposing team had the ball 6 minutes. And you're like, damn. I mean, they kind of took the wind out of you. Right? I mean, they completely took the wind out of you. Black Leo says, as a quarterback, you have to put in the work, even when nobody's looking. Hurts has done that in him. Unlike most, he will work on his craft. He is working on his craft. He is. I think him and Kellen are really working well. Still, the offense needs to carry them through week 9, 10, putting a lot of looks on tape. By then, the D should have turned the corner. Yeah, that's the remedy. That's the formula. That's the formula. That's right there. That's right, Jose. Jose, amen. That's by 1,000 cuts. Okay? Brian goes, yeah, we were blowing teams out in the first half. Hey, not only that, though, Brian, tell me how many times you looked up and you went, the Giants got the ball for 8 minutes? They got the ball 8 minutes? And you're up 14-0. Shit, the comment was we couldn't put teams away in the second half. 22. Sills, do you think Katera is good enough now that he can run 2 tight end set? Umberto, I said this earlier in the program about Grant Calcaterra. Dude, you got to show me now. We're in year 3. Let's go. Let's play. Stop getting hurt. You're like a balsa wood, paper mache. Get your ass out there and play. Okay? Get your ass out there and play, kid. Regardless of the time, I'm seriously concerned about the pass rush. I am. That's what, hey, Black Leo. Right. Right. How do you combat that? Ball control. Field position. That's why I wanted Matt Ariza. Matt Ariza. You know, Matt Ariza is averaging like 45 yards a punt in the preseason so far. And in practice, he's averaging 47 yards. That could be the greatest acquisition of any team in the offseason because you have a game-changing, field position-changing football player in Kansas City now. And if that guy, Xavier Worthy, turns out to be a home run hitter, Brett Veach and Andy and all them guys, that's insanity. You got a punter that can punt as an average 40. When he was with the Bills, he was averaging 47 yards a punt in the postseason, in the exhibition season. Okay? Yeah, but Umberto, a good punter, changes the game. Very true, Sills. Not only does he change the game, he saves your defense. Your offense has a 3 and out. You've got a great punter like Matt Ariza. Drop his ass in there, and you have a 3 and out on the 35, 38-yard line. And this guy puts it down in the coffin corner, and you got the team backed up on the 10. Dude, that's a grand slam. That means that team's got to go 90 yards, 95 yards. There's nothing. Hey, you don't have good special teams in today's NFL like that, game-changing punter, and you got a suspect defense, and most defenses in this league are suspect now. Punting is an incredible asset to have now. That's why they signed a guy who was accused of raping a woman in Kansas City. Think about how much that has to kill Clark Hunt to hire that. Man, even if he's innocent, which he is, you still got the bullshit about it. But he's so good, they ate that. He's innocent. Yeah, I know, man. In this world, nobody forgives and forgets. Yeah, but he didn't do anything. That ain't the point. He was guilty for 2 years in the eyes of the media and in the eyes of fans and in the eyes of the internet assassins. You know? Remember, yeah, Ray Guy too. All right, guys. Do me a favor, guys. Where are we on the like button right now? Please do me a favor. Please hit that like button. Don't forget, owner of 3 Super Bowls, as a defensive coach and D coordinator, Butch Davis is going to join us at 4:30. One of the greatest talent evaluators of all time will join us. I believe Xander's going to join us at around 5 o'clock too. So where are we right now in this like list? By the way, we got another topic coming up here in a second. Guys have been really great. You guys have been killing it the last 4 or 5 days. I mean, guys, I mean it. Please smash that like button. I can't thank you enough for the super chats too. I think tomorrow's going to tell us a little bit more. You know, it's more of a game environment. And by the way, I want to make sure I walk back on one thing here. I'm not talking trash any way on Johnny Mac. No way. Please don't think that, because I'm not. I'm not in any way. I love the show that they do with, Xander and him, Birds 365. So please, if it landed there, you got to always make sure nowadays that people will say you're talking shit on someone. It's not true. So I didn't mean it. If it landed there, that's not where I was going with it. So I got a lot of respect for what he does and how he covers the team, and we really appreciate it. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.